You're public now, that's grand. You can commence.
Okay, thank you, Claire. Can I inform members that the draft minutes of the meeting held on the 30th of November 2021 are on pages 60 to 64 of the meeting pack? Can I ask if members are content that the minutes are a true reflection of the proceedings of the meeting?
Great.
Thank you. Confirm members that I will sign the minutes in due course and return them to the clerk. Okay. Next item of the meeting is matters arising. Can I inform members that there are 4 items at pages 66 to 78, of the meeting pack. Item 1 at page 66 is a response from the Department of Finance noting the committee's position on the draft budgets for the 3 NMPBs. In relation to the Assembly Commission's draft budget, the Department advises that the Commission has not indicated an intention to amend its budget plans. The Executive's draft budget document, which was published on Monday past, reflects the full amount submitted by the Assembly Commission. The Committee had asked that its comments on the Commission's budget plans be reflected in the Executive's draft budget document. The Department of Finance has pointed out that it would be highly unusual for this to happen and stated that it is for the Committee to make its views known, not for the Finance Minister to do so, which is interesting. I ask members that are content to note the correspondence and the Committee's position on the Commission's draft budget, that it will be reflected by us as a committee or by me as chair during the Assembly debate on the budget. Any comments or thoughts, members, on those things?
It does make you wonder about the value of them consulting us at all, but I suppose we have the opportunity in the Assembly to make the points that concern us.
I was thinking the same thing as well, Mr. Allister. The views of this committee continually seem to be dismissed, so it does raise concern, and I think that certainly through our deliberations as time proceeds, we should be ensuring that our thoughts and scrutiny of budgets and our concerns in relation to them is heard and reflected. Otherwise, there's a considerable question mark as to what the point of it all is.
I say, Chair, that the Audit Committee should be a serious sounding board within the structures for concerns. And if when concerns are raised, they're simply brushed aside, it doesn't evince much confidence that the Audit Committee's work is either valued or taken into account.
Well, Mr. Allister, even to respond to that, there's a habit, unfortunately, within department of the Executive where concerns raised in the past about quite a wide range of issues have been brushed aside and ignored, and we knew what the consequences of that were for the public purse and for public finances. So I do agree with you wholeheartedly in your concern, and I share it. And in fact, I would be minded as chair of this committee to reflect the concerns that have been dismissed in such a way. So, Clerk, maybe before the meeting ends today, we will respond to what has been shared with us and express our disappointment and concern, and add some reasonable force in our argument that our concerns are legitimate, they're following due scrutiny, and they should be considered and reflected on that basis. If members are agreed with that?
I'm in the full agreement with that. With the comments to yourself and Mr. Allister, I think it is unfortunate that our views are ignored in some of these issues. Yeah.
It seems lessons are not being learned, is my concern about all of this.
Yeah.
Chair, can I just clarify that that's to respond to the Department of Finance?
Yes.
Okay.
So, our function as a scrutiny body has an important role. We have had findings, we've had concerns, we've shared those concerns. Those concerns have been ignored and brushed aside. We're not happy about that. We would like to have thought that departments such as, and in particular the Department of Finance, would have learned lessons from previous experiences of ignoring concerns raised, particularly when it comes to public expenditure and finance, and that we would ask that we are given the due respect as a committee, and that our concerns are duly noted and considered in any deliberations or decisions reached by the Department of Finance.
Okay.
Seems to be that they're only prepared to acknowledge us when we're giving them the thumbs up.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
That's another important thing. Clerk, if you could draft a letter to that effect and share it with members, and then we could maybe okay it before or beyond this meeting or before it's over.
Okay,
Is that okay?
that's fine, yeah. I'll get that out
Thank you.
before close of play today.
Okay, thank you, members. Items 2, 3 and 4, pages 69 to 78 are responses from the NIPSO, the NIAO and the NIAC to the committee's request for comments on the extent to which efficiencies could be delivered to offset any pressures they may face over the 22-25 budget period. Can I ask members if they are content to note items 2, 3 and 4 at this stage and refer to them when considering the budget issues going forward? Is members content with that?
Good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, members, can we move to the next item of business? The Controller and Auditor General salary arrangements. Can I refer members to pages 79 to 103 of the meeting pack of the relevant papers? Can I ask the Clerk to speak to this item? Thank you, Clerk.
Okay, Standing Order 58.2 provides that this committee tables any motion for a resolution of the Assembly in relation to the salary payable to the CNAG. There's been a long-standing convention that the salary is linked to Salary Group 5, or Judicial Salary Group 5. The Assembly passed a motion in 2014 to increase the CAG salary to align with that, but there has been no increase since then. And the previous Audit Committee, in its legacy report, suggested that the Income Committee should give consideration to carrying out a review of the options open to it for determining the CAG's salary in the future. There was nothing of any substance really in the legacy report, but having spoken to officials, there was a concern around whether this committee should have responsibility for determining the CNAG salary, or should it rest with another body, for example the Assembly Commission. So there was research was commissioned on the background and current salary arrangements for the CNAG and the salary arrangements in comparable cases. So the salary scale for the CNAG at the moment is 140 to 145,000. The Assembly Commission, as you know, and the papers are attached in your pack, it's commenced the recruitment exercise to appoint a new CNAG, and the advertised salary scale for that post is 141,332 per annum. So you'll see from the research paper the salary arrangements for national auditors in other jurisdictions. In England, it's 220 to 225,000. Scotland, 105 to 110,000. Wales, 150,000. And the Republic of Ireland, 197,000, just over euro. So I suppose it's a case of the committee considering whether responsibility should rest with this committee and whether the CNAG salary should be increased at this time. And if an increase is accepted, should it still have that link with Judicial Salary Group 5, as was the case in the past? I mean, if the committee doesn't believe that this committee should have responsibility for setting the salary, although it's a resolution of the Assembly, but who puts down the motion, etc., you might want to commission research to identify how that's done in other jurisdictions and the process that's followed. For example, if it goes to the legislature, who puts down the motion, etc.
Okay, Clerk, that's very helpful. Clerk, if I just come in there, when is the last time the salary of the CNAG was increased in Northern Ireland?
It hasn't been increased since 2014, where it was increased by 0.95% to bring it into line with the Senior Salaries Review Board review of the judicial salaries for Group 5. And before that, actually, the CNAG salary had been frozen at its sort of previous level for a period of 5 years.
Well, it's nearly sitting at the level it's at now for nearly 8 years. Now, so there'll be a mixed view on this, particularly given where things are at generally with the pressures that exist within various departments of health service, education, etc., etc. However, given the severe challenges that this place has had in terms of scrutiny and accountability and keeping an eye on public finances, the role of the CNAG is a critical role. I think it is important that the CNAG, whoever it may be, is remunerated in a way that is reflective of the importance of the position. If there was an increase in the last few years, I would be minded to say we'll leave as is, but given it has been 8 years, and looking at the scale of difference, obviously England's an entirely different situation in terms of the challenge of the size of the region. But I think, well, I'm not against looking at it, I suppose. Has members any other thoughts on this?
If I could just point out before members comment that the current salary for Judicial Salary Group 5 is 154,527 per annum.
Okay.
So over the last years, then it's fallen behind by about 11,000 from the linkage that was previously given.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And the post that's been advertised is at 141.
It's one.
Yeah.
What does it say in that advert about future salary arrangements?
It actually said that the salary is under review but won't be reduced.
Yes. Would there be any logical reason why it wouldn't be relinked to the judicial band?
No, that's up to the committee to make that decision. I know that I think, if I can remember rightly, the recommendation when the Audit Office was reviewed, there's actually a research paper that I included. Let me see, the Tyner report and its review of the National Audit Office. The Chief Executive's remuneration should not be aligned to that of a High Court judge. It should be sent by the Public Accounts Commission based on... I don't know, I mean, it has been the long-standing practice that it is linked to Judicial Salary Group 5, but, you know, if you thought that that wasn't, or you wanted to look at that further, we could look to see how that's determined, you know, what benchmark is used in other jurisdictions.
Yeah. Like at the moment, it's in or about a permanent secretary level, isn't that right?
Yeah, roughly. You know, and
At the top end of that?
Yeah, Article 4 of the Audit Order 1987 says the salary should not exceed the maximum salary paid to any employee in the civil service. So that the head of the civil service scale is 160 to 188, but a permanent secretary's pay scale is 124 to 141.86. So I mean, it's Hawks who is the highest paid, not the permanent secretary. But I suppose if you look at it from a point where the CNAG is auditing the permanent secretary would be answerable to CNAG.
I would be content, not to interrupt Mr. Alistair, but I'd be content to bring it into line. I don't know what other thought. What's your thing, Mr. Alistair? Yeah.
Well, I would have thought we maybe should restore the equilibrium with the judicial line.
Yeah.
The Group 5. Like that brings it up to 154, which seems to me in or about the right range, but it's just a personal view. And that keeps it, that's actually slightly more generous in Wales and a good bit more generous in Scotland.
Mm-hmm. I would have no issue with that. I would be content with that suggestion.
Well, I would be reasonably content, I suppose, given the fact that there's been no increase for 8 years. I suppose it does bring would bring some fairness into the equation, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so Like, what do you need? What do you need us to clarify exactly now? Is
Well, if the committee has agreed to increase the salary in line with the judicial grade 5 or salary group 5, a motion to this effect will be tabled for debate in the Assembly, and it will be the Assembly resolution that agrees the CNAG salary. So if members are content, I can progress that for after Christmas recess.
yes, I'm content with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay, that's great. So just for the sake of public record, the committee is agreeing to increase the salary of the CNAG in line with the Judicial Salary Group 5, as was the case in the past. So, okay. Thank you, members. And, okay. Okay, next item of business, members. The monitoring round. Can I refer members to pages 105 to 107 of the meeting pack for the relevant papers? Can I inform members that departments and bodies are due to submit their January monitoring round returns to the Department of Finance by the 1st of January 2022. In advance of that, the committee requested details of the proposed returns for the NIPSO and the NIAO. Can I inform members that NIPSO does not anticipate making any surrenders or bids, and the NIAO anticipates making a surrender of £450,000 due to its full year staffing complement remaining less than had been anticipated, resulting in savings on forecasted salaries. The surrender also includes reduction in travel costs due to the impact of COVID-19, a reduction in overheads as a result of their temporary accommodation requirements during the refurbishment project, and a reduction in the depreciation cover required for the 21-22 year. A bit of £400,000 will also be made for capital expenditure for the accommodation project. However, it should be noted that this does not represent an increase in costs, it's just more a timing issue. Can I ask members that are content to note the positions, or whether they wish to make any comment in relation to it?
Content.
Content?
As am I. Okay. Mr. Irwin, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, members. Correspondence. Can inform members there are 4 items of correspondence at pages 108 to 114 of the meeting pack. Can I draw your attention to one of the items? Item 1 at page 109 is correspondence from the Secretary to the Public Accounts Commission at Westminster. As part of the Commission's programme of audit reforms and examination of the quality of the National Audit Office's audit work, the Commission is seeking engagement with this committee to discuss our role, remit and relationship with the NIAO. Can I ask members whether they're content to meet with the Chair of the Commission at some point in the next few months, the new year? Member, any views on that?
Content.
Yes, I have no issue either. Clerk, you can go ahead.
No issue.
Yep, that's right.
That's good. Okay. Ms. Grant, can I ask members if you're content to note the remaining items under correspondence?
Content.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other business, members? No?
No.
Okay, thank you. Can I advise members that the next meeting of the Audit Committee is on Wednesday, the 26th of January at 12:40. Further meetings have been scheduled for the 16th of February and the 16th of March. Committee staff will send details so members can put dates in their diaries. But thank you, members, for your swift engagement today. It was a very smooth meeting, and also to wish you all well, very happy and healthy Christmas with your families, and also to thank the clerk and the committee staff for all they've done to support us in our work throughout the last year, and to wish them a very happy Christmas with their families also.
Here.
Thank you, members. The meeting is now adjourned. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the Northern Ireland Assembly, Committee Room 29. This is the Northern Ireland Assembly, Committee Room 29. This is the Northern Ireland Assembly.